Thank you, Jinder. We're gonna start. Sonny, ready? All right. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Board of Library Trustees, meeting of January 13th, 2026. Time is 6:01 p.m. I'll invite Jinder to call the roll.
Trustee Kyle,
Here.
Trustee Lee,
Present.
Trustee Pope,
Here.
and I see that Alex, Trustee Vedot has joined us. I just need to move. Oh, there he is. Okay. All right. Trustee Vedot,
Present virtually.
and Chair Ando.
Here. Next, I'll invite Jinder to explain how the public can participate in this evening's agenda.
Thank you, Chair Ando. This meeting will be held in person and is being recorded and streamed live to Zoom at the link on the agenda. You may participate in person to provide public comment. Each speaker will have 2 minutes. You may also submit your comments by email by 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting. We are offering closed captioning for this evening's meeting on Zoom. Select the live transcript button on Zoom to enable this feature.
Thank you, Jinder. Before we start with agenda item number 1, I just want to introduce our newest board member, Michael Polk, and welcome him to the Library Commission. Michael, could you spend a minute and talk a little bit about why you're interested in the commission and how you'd like to see your service on the commission?
Okay. I actually grew up here in San Rafael until I went to college, and I've been gone quite a while. Came back in 2019 to live here as my wife and I retired. We're both archaeologists. We have done a lot of historical work in particular, and we've also both worked in libraries, and that was quite a while ago, but have a real interest in books and libraries and research, and that has made me, and when you add history into there, that's made me particularly interested in a position like this. I'm very interested in the fact that there's a new library going to be built, and that I can be a part of that process.
Super. Thanks, Michael. And again, welcome to the board.
Thank you.
All right, so I will call now the first agenda item, and that would be the minutes from October 14th. I don't think I was here on the 14th meeting, so I will be asking the rest of the committee to go over the minutes and hopefully get a motion to accept them.
I wasn't here either.
Okay.
I was good. Motion to accept
Okay.
the minutes.
You are still able to vote on the minutes even if
Second
you're
that.
because I think
I was-
otherwise we're gonna.
Yes, well, if Mary Kyle approves it,
Yes,
I will second it.
Okay, good.
All right. I will now invite questions
But
and
we need to do the
Vote. What the
We're swearing this.
the
The-
vote.
roll call.
Roll call.
oh, the roll call, I'm sorry, but it says invites questions and answers from trustees and staff
On minutes?
on the
After the, okay.
Jinder, am I right on reading this? Or should I just go directly to the vote?
Yeah, because nobody had comments on the
Oh,
minutes.
okay.
Yeah, we can just move to the roll call.
All right.
Yeah.
There public comments on the minutes?
The next,
Public comments on the minutes?
Sure. Yeah, if you, sir, if you,
I do have a relevant one.
Yes.
That I would like to read it, if that's okay.
all right. And if you could state your name and
Yes. My name is Ken Dickinson. I live in Santa Fe Meadows. Dear Chair and members of the Library Board of Trustees, thank you for your time this evening and for your continued stewardship of Sanderfell Libraries. After reviewing the October 14th, 2025 meeting minutes and the updated guideline for library and recreation facility use, I wanted to ask a question and, depending on the answer, offer a suggestion. The guidelines use of behavior-based standards reflects evidence-based best practices in public librarianship. Guidance from the American Library Association and the Urban Libraries Council consistently shows that these policies are most effective when paired with cross-department coordination, clear referral pathways, and consistent expectations, particularly in communities implementing housing-first approaches. With the opening of the interim shelter at 350 Murraydale, which will house approximately 65 individuals, there will be a meaningful increase in the number of people experiencing homelessness in the 94903 area. It is reasonable to anticipate increased interaction between shelter residents and nearby civic spaces, including the Civic Centre Library, the Northgate branch, and facilities such as the Turralinda Pool. My first question, is there already coordination or regular communication happening between library and recreation staff and city staff, and in particular in anticipation of the Murraydale shelter regarding expectations, response protocols, or shared impacts? And my follow-up question, if that coordination is not yet formalized, would the board consider encouraging or facilitating a more structured channel for communication, such as shared briefings, a liaison role, or periodic check-ins so that responses are consistent, staff are supported, and policies function as intended? Evidence from other public library systems shows that coordination reduces staff strain, improves safety outcomes, and leads to more predictable and humane responses for everyone involved. Thank you for considering these questions and for your continued service to our community.
So I can take that. So that's actually on the agenda for this evening. So
Oh, it
that's,
is? Okay,
yeah,
all
it's
right.
not part of the
It-
minutes.
It was related to the minutes. Well, sorry, I got it wrong. Yeah.
We can absolutely address that
Okay,
when we
great.
get to that agenda item.
Thank you.
For sure.
So thank you for your comments. We
Yep.
appreciate it. All right, if there are no other comments, and we are ready for a vote, Jinder, on the minutes.
All right, Trustee Kyle,
A.
Trustee Lee,
Yay.
Trustee Polk,
Aye.
Trustee Vidot,
Aye.
Chair Ando.
Aye. All right, with that, we have passed the minutes or approved the minutes. Open time for public expression. The public is welcome to address the library board at this time on matters not on the agenda that are within the its jurisdiction. Comments may be no longer than 2 minutes and should be respectful to the community. You, ensure the, do you have any other comments?
No, not right now. No,
Thank you. No other comments at this time from the public, so we move on to item number 2. We do not have a presentation we do not have a item under special presentations. So we'll move on to item number 3 under other agenda topics. If necessary, to assure the completion of the following items, the chairperson may establish time limits for the presentations by individual speakers. Item number 3, the review guidelines for library and recreation facility use. I call the agenda item and
Yeah.
presentation by staff.
Sure. So this is a review of the guidelines for library and recreation facility use, which is an update to the library's use, for the library's guidelines for library use. The guidelines for library use were gonna come up for review as part of the library's policy review process that we've been taking on for the last year. And for this specific for these guidelines, we took advantage and collaborated with our recreation division to develop guidelines that we could use across all of our department facilities. So the review of this or the updated guidelines encompass language to help us roll out these guidelines across the community centers as well as the library branches. If you look at the staff report, I highlight some of the key updates that are the key changes to the existing guidelines for library use that were specific to libraries. Just visually, the formatting and organization has been updated to reflect adoptability across all of our facilities. And the structure is a lot clearer with more distinct sections, like purpose, guidelines, identifies what our prohibited conduct is. But it also identifies what the consequences, what the enforcement is, and then a clear process for appeals and accommodations. This kind of focuses a little bit more, the language focuses a lot more on applicability, what the specific behaviors are, and how do they apply for the specific space they're in and their impeding of certain library functions. Like we talk a lot about pathways and access to pathways, as well as specific behavior that we've noticed since the inception of the original guidelines that are used across, that we can use for our community centers as well. We add and clarify rules related to safety, security, harassment, inappropriate sexual behavior, and disruptive conduct, which is something that wasn't explicitly called out in the previous guideline. And then we expand guidance on items that may interfere with access, safety, or operations, and provide size requirements to give staff kind of visually what that looks like when they see it inside of our facilities. We clarify rules regarding food consumption, appropriate attire, and odors, and provide guidance on supervision of children, vulnerable adults, and we clarify service animal definitions.
Can I say?
Yes.
So I think kind of to the comment we heard earlier, the library has had the library use guidelines for, I mean, longer than I've been here. The original version that we're updating was last updated in 2018. That was a version that had been in place long before that. This has been a critical tool for the library in managing behavior and ensuring that the library is a place that's comfortable and welcoming and accessible to everybody. I think an ongoing thing that staff's constantly working on is making sure we have consistent enforcement of these policies and procedures. And it's tough, right? Like it's tough to confront people about their behaviors, especially if they're, that might be a bit scary, but that's something we provide training to staff, kind of constant reinforcement and support, as well as there's always someone on staff that's kind of in a supervisory role that can come and support in some of the more difficult situations. We did not have anything like this at the community centers. And we have been starting to experience more of the kind of behaviors that the library has been kind of expert at managing for many years. They're starting to pop up more at our community centers, particularly B Street, but we do see it at Albert Borough and Terra Linda Community Center as well. And so when we were doing this update, it was really a great time to provide this tool across all of our library and recreation facilities, and to have that consistency and that kind of that common tool and common expectation with our community and common approach to how do we address these issues? What are the tools to kind of really, our goal is never to block people from access, but to try and encourage behavior change. And if that's not possible, ensure that the people that do want to use the facility are able to safely. When it comes to enforcement, a lot of this, we do coordinate with our homeless outreach team and with PD. If there's a situation where staff feel is kind of beyond our expertise or the kind of maybe impairs or impacts the safety of staff or the community, we will pull in. PD is always available. Safe team is at the library daily, pretty much. So we do coordinate quite closely with the other city departments on this, kind of enforcing these rules and expectations.
And I'm just curious, how is it received by some of the patrons, with the manager? I mean, are there confrontations? Is it uncomfortable?
Varies.
Like in general interaction,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think it depends.
a lot of these things that you're asking about is very personal or, difficult. It would be uncomfortable for anybody, but you're dealing with a different clientele that has some of these issues. So I'm just wondering.
So staff
How
have
we proceed.
participated in specific trainings on how to engage with kind of first steps. And I think one of our processes is we identify when we're identify behavior that goes against or that's prohibited against our guidelines, is they're all warned that or that we highlight that they're breaking a policy or that their behavior is an infraction to a policy. And we always give them a chance to correct that behavior. So that initial conversation isn't punitive or it's almost just kind of like signaling that that their behavior is not aligned with our guidelines. And then from there, it just progresses. So if they may be asked to leave for the day, so those conversations aren't always like brash from the beginning. They do progress and they're given an opportunity to kind of correct whatever the behavior is. But they do become complicated, and we have a system in place on how to address those. We communicate a lot from supervisor to frontline staff, or frontline staff to supervisors, and it's always kind of handled in pairs. So there's always someone witnessing the interaction, and all frontline staff are aware that something is happening, so that we know if we need to call for backup. So that all of those practices they're kind of happening now come through a lot of the trainings that were mostly through Ryan Dowd homeless trainings on how to address different situations.
Good. So you feel safe. The staff feel safe.
Right. So I think it's the collaborative nature of addressing the situation that provides kind of safety in it. And we're not encouraging anyone to do anything in a situation where they may feel unsafe.
And I think often that is, again, collaborating with some of the other departments that may have more information and can guide us on, oh, yes, we're familiar with this person. This might be a more appropriate way. Or, oh, yes, really, if you need to engage, call for support, things like that. So, yeah.
I remember reading through, I think most of this at the end of last year. And my only comment was, that's more of a technical one. The appeals process seems to require that someone provide their contact information, including mailing address, email, and telephone. If the person isn't able to provide that, I assume they can still file an appeal with under the guidelines of reasonable accommodations. And I just wanted to make sure that was something that people could do if they needed to and couldn't exactly follow the requirements under the appeal
that's
process.
the case. Most of the communication when it comes to either a warning or a suspension or like a ban happens person to person. We've done those quite a few, and that communication the other way around, when someone's concerned about their suspension, happens the same way. They'll come in and they'll signal that they're here to talk about their suspension, and then we reach out that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, the contact information is ideally so we can communicate back to them through the process of the appeal, right? But
Yeah, that was more of a technical question,
Right.
given exactly how the appeal was supposed to be,
Right.
done.
I have a question. So I know it's for library and recreation facility use, but since the Carnegie branch is so close to City Hall, does this also apply to City Hall as well?
It does not.
And
'Cause I
it
think-
doesn't.
Oh, I
Sorry.
was just gonna say, because I think that will be a little bit of a disconnect, right, with the Carnegie branch so close to City Hall, because if it applies to a facility, but then you can go, 20 paces down to City Hall and engage in these behaviors. I don't know how effective it might be. That would be my one comment.
I mean, I think it's this is prior to the Park and Rec Commission will be reviewing this on Thursday, so that's kind of when it will go into effect for the community centers. That's prior to that, it's really was just the library that had
Yeah.
these. So, I think it's a good question and maybe something the city would want to consider in the future. Yeah, we'd have to kind of work with our city attorney's office and the give the city manager certain authority to establish rules and kind of guidelines for use. And I'm not certain if that also would apply to City Hall or not. So that we'd have to, there need to be some additional research there.
Appreciate it.
So just,
Tony?
I was wondering if I don't know, we should consider the person as a patrons of library because they are living outside of the building, like in front of the children's room window. Is it considered as a part of, it's not bothering the patrons inside the library, but it's outside, just outside the building property of the library. In that case, is there no mediation to have her or he to
We're
That's
not
not
really
part
able
of-
to speak to
the
kind of what's happening outside the library in this.
So the library grounds don't apply, it's just the interior of the library?
Yes, this
So,
is for the interior of the library.
if it's outside the door, basically window, it doesn't consider as your jurisdiction. What is it called?
I think there's access issues.
Yeah.
With so if they're blocking access.
I think we're starting to get a little bit outside, but I might be like legally comfortable to answer, but I can say from like a practice, someone may be outside speaking in an elevated voice. We may be, if we're concerned that they're having, a mental crisis, we might call safe, but we're not gonna go out and try and take them out of the lawn.
Okay.
Or, address it there. So, I would say this is really focused on the interior of the building. I think if someone were to harass staff, then that's a different,
so who deals with the property that's part of the library but outside the building? Who's in charge of all that?
it's the city more broadly.
There's not a specific, it's not Parks and Recreation, it's not the recreation people, or, is that considered part of I don't know.
It's library grounds, but when issues that stem outside of our building, that's when we reach out to like our community services department to help guide us on kind of more of that expertise in that field. And if we have issues that are immediately solved through SAFE, then staff make that judgment call on which department to call.
and so I just wanted to comment, because you mentioned about the Civic Center Library, which that's the county, correct? So these don't go with Civic Center one. Yeah, just to clarify, they may have their own set of rules, correct?
Yeah.
Daniel worked with the county for many years.
They
You
do.
probably know.
Yeah. They have their own set of rules, and actually in drafting language for this, we looked at guidelines for a lot of like code of conduct policies across Marinette to kind of more streamline it so that our patrons who visit different libraries understand that or find a streamlined process for all facilities.
And then you had a different set for children as far as, right? Didn't we read something that children need to have supervision, or this has to be, there was a whole.
It's a
nother
separate
set of-
policy.
It's a separate
Right?
policy,
Yeah,
more
the
specifically
board
for
review,
the
yeah.
child safety and the,
Yeah.
and the children's.
Okay, that's what I thought. This is kind of 18 and older, sort of.
Well, it encompasses everyone, but this is more for the entirety of the facility.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Other comments or questions from trustees?
I just have one more question. My background was social work, and there was a trend that more social workers, San Francisco, San Jose, were in libraries, and they were volunteer programs so that they could help people. It's not enough to say your hygiene's poor. Do you know, maybe you're a newcomer, do you know the resources? Do you have the local resources? Do you know about this? Do you need to access the food or whatever? Is there any program like that? I know about the outreach people, but do you have anything like that? Because certainly MSW students or people could volunteer, or retired people.
I just
Well, why don't you
posted it.
let them,
Oh, yeah.
let them answer.
So embedded as part of our library, no. But I think that's kind of, when you're looking at library service in general, that's kind of a role that frontline staff are picking up already, and have been for a very long time.
Have they?
And we've got guides. We have a very popular guide at our front desk, our community resource guide. That helps refer people to a lot of those same questions, or a lot of those same resources. But someone embedded handling that in isolated service, no. I think it's something that libraries in general are picking, like their staff are doing that, are filling that void.
I will say that we did a pilot program. I think it was it pre-pandemic, or the years are blurring together, where we had a part-time staff that was kind of in that role. And what we found was it was challenging because the library is open 7 days a week, many more hours than, certainly a part-time staff could manage, but even one, if we would have full-time staff, you need multiple full-time staff to really cover the need there. And we, at a library of our size and our budget, we just aren't able to kind of take librarians away and hire social workers. And I think we've actually found with SAFE that but in addition to our library staff, we're able to provide kind of that basic referral for kind of common needs. SAFE's able to provide kind of an additional layer for maybe more of the acute kind of really intense needs.
There's a library handout, like a leaflet, for all the agencies in the Mark County.
I'm
so
familiar with them.
I realized that someone mentioned that there's a key numbers, they just jump on it right away if you need, so they take care of it right away. So that was
But
very
sometimes
nice
people
of the
need more
library
than
hands.
just a handout, like, let's really fill out this housing application or this Medi-Cal application or this, that sort of thing. Online. Okay.
Other comments or questions from trustees? All right, in that case, the chair now opens for public comment to in-person attendees and reminds speakers that they will have 2 minutes for public comment. If you have any comments on this item.
Yes, Ken Dickinson again. I really came because we're trying to deal with a lot of the things you're talking about, code of conduct and good neighbor policy. We're trying to help create that for the city for the 350 Merrydale project. So I thought it sounded like you've already struggled with this for a long time. And I just thought by coming here, it would be helpful for me to find out the things you're doing. And I realized that we're receiving 65 people into some very family-oriented neighborhoods. And close by is the library and the Turlinda Pool. So I imagined they could very well end up, you may see a population increase of the population that's sort of being addressed in this document in those two facilities. And thank you for pointing out that I forget the county it's right across there, but it's not part of this, right? Yeah. But all those will be receiving more people. And I was curious if you had, it seems like you do, you have it well thought out and managed. And so I was just trying to learn from your experience really and see how that you're understand and prepared and expecting the population to perhaps go up. Really, that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. There are no other comments from the public, so we move on. And I would request a motion and a second on this item, which is the review guidelines for library and recreation facility use. I get a motion to.
Before you do that, is this, are you doing the motion on the review or the motion on the guidelines?
On the guidelines.
Okay, not the, but you said the review, so you meant.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so we're
This is
asking
not
for
down.
approval.
Approval.
This is often the library board is reviewing and providing feedback. Policies are where you have the purview to approve.
So
Yeah.
we're voting on recommending the policy that you
Adopting
adopting the policy.
Or should you feel another path is appropriate, then articulating that for us as well.
So we are voting on the review guidelines for library and recreation.
You are voting to approve the guidelines.
Yes. Yeah, not the review.
Yeah, so the title of the staff report is review guidelines and the recommendation is that the board approve the guidelines.
Right. I'm probably lucky this is my last chair job, so.
It's a learning process.
Which
They'll just get.
yeah. So could I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the new recommendations for
Okay,
library and for that.
we've got it.
I second that.
All right, Gender, I think we're ready for a vote.
All right, Trustee Kyle,
Aye.
Trustee Lee,
Yay. Aye.
Trustee Pope,
Aye.
Trustee Vedot,
Aye.
Chair Endo.
Aye. All right, with that motion approved, with that, we move on to item number 4, selection of board chair, vice chair, and Albert Park Library and Community Center Community Stakeholder Committee representative. I think I got all that. Oh, okay.
We need an acronym.
So, all right, so I'll call the agenda item and is it, I hope, a staff recommendation and I don't know how this, well, I'll let staff.
So we can start first with selection of the new chair and vice chair, which has always been just kind of a succession of the co-chair into the chair role, and then based on tenure would be the next person to assume the vice chair role.
That's kind of the recommended
That's the recommended process.
So you want to do that separately then as?
Yeah, we could do that first and then move on to the
Yeah.
committee representative.
All right, any comments or questions from the trustees? And I guess if you can identify who.
Right, so Mary would assume the chair role and Sunny would assume the vice chair role.
Somehow we're a few months apart.
I think you were appointed at the exact same time, but then we went alphabetically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is also very close. Well, you're one letter ahead of Sunny.
And then because it's on the same, should we do?
I think you can do it either way. I mean, you can do it as one or.
And then the board would recommend a member to be part of the Albert Library and Community Center Community Stakeholder Committee.
Yeah, and I can talk a little bit more about that. So Measure P project, we have hired the project manager to move that project forward, kind of get all our ducks in a row and get that rolling. So one of many community engagement kind of tactics we're going to be using with that project is the creation of a community stakeholder committee. So this will be kind of a standing committee of 7 representatives. The 7 groups represented is the library board, the Park and Rec Commission, the Library Foundation, the Friends of the Library, the Golden Heirs Senior Citizens Organization, Santa Fe City Schools, and the Santa Fe Chamber of Commerce. So each of those groups will have one representative on the committee. We expect this committee will meet at least 4 times, kind of during the design portion, during the design period for the project. And they'll kind of check in at various times throughout that process to get feedback.
How long is the design phase?
I need to check my staff report. I think we're targeting. I mean, there's various stages of design, right? There's kind of we're starting from scratch. So kind of there's the initial community engagement, like schematic design, site layout, and then you get into the more, design development into construction documents. I think that this would be more during the initial phases, looking at kind of site plans, massing, scaling, what's in the building. And then once we move into the design development, that gets to be more of the real nuts and bolts of the architecture. I believe that first period is, I think we're talking about a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You said meeting 4 times a year and a half.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay to nominate myself? It's I'm really interested in the committee to be part of it.
I mean, I think anybody can nominate themselves. Anybody that's interested.
So let's do this, if you don't mind. Let's just get the chair and vice chairs done so we can focus on, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So I'd like to make a motion as chair to have Mary Kyle be the new chairperson for 2026 and Sunny Lee be the co-chair.
Vice chair.
Vice chair, excuse me, vice chair.
I second that.
Thank you. Ginger, do we need to call a roll on this item or?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay.
Trustee Kyle,
Aye.
Trustee Lee,
Aye.
Trustee Polk,
Aye.
Trustee Vedot,
Aye.
Chair Ando.
Aye. All right, with that, do I turn it over now or do you want to wait until the next?
Probably until the next meeting.
Next meeting?
Yeah.
Sure, you're doing a great job.
Oh, yeah.
Larry, you can't wait to get rid of the gavel.
Just like you, I took over from you, Alex.
I'd also just say that during that period, it will also be brought to the library board as a full board. That will also be an opportunity. The library board as an entity will have opportunities to weigh in as well. We're actually considering we might do a joint library board Park and Rec Commission meeting or 2 in the coming year when we discuss this topic.
So back on the subject of the library committee, I'll speak for myself. I actually attended the first Prop P public meeting about 4 or 5 months ago. So I heard the presentation from, at that time, the consultant who at that time was not hired but was asked or was proposing their plan. And let's see, it was Mary Beth Bussey from the city was on a couple of other folks who I don't remember now. But I'll be honest, I did think it was a committee that I would like to be a member of as well. So I will throw my hat.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would throw my hat into that ring as well. I'm not sure
Actually, I would like to be.
The one thing I was gonna say
I'll
is,
vote for-
like way back in the
Alex?
day, I can't remember what the topic was, but it was another sort of similar situation where they had like a multi commission, like super commission. And when the library board was nominating a person, we also nominated an alternate just in case. I don't know if that's worthwhile to do here.
Yeah, we can do that as well. That was for the Albert Park. That was kind of the initial, the very, very first,
Oh, okay.
I think, planning, kind of the Nolan Tam, they did a very preliminary design on it potentially,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe, everything blurs together during the
Yeah.
pandemic.
We can do that as well. I think the goal with this is to have it, this is not going to be a public board. Like it's not a Brown Act. It's not a Brown Act group. The goal with this is to be a little bit more nimble, a little more interactive, not kind of have some of the like rules and procedures that are required of Brown Act committee. So this is not appointed by city council. So while we want to make sure there's that consistent voice, and I think it would be appropriate to nominate an alternate in case the primary representative is unable to attend, we would want to make sure, these are going to build on each other. So if the primary representative was unable to attend, we would just want to make sure they really kind of bring the alternate up to speed.
So just for the clearance, I just confused the trustee, but that is on Zoom. Is it allowed to be meeting on Zoom? Because when I broke my ankle, I was not able to attend the meeting from home over the Zoom because it was legally not allowed for the rule of the committee meetings. But this time he's allowed to join and participate, able to vote. So this is like an exception you guys made clearly.
Ginger?
Yeah.
So
I know that there
it
were,
was, because I was told I have to be physically in.
I know that
To
there
be
have been
attend the
some
meeting.
recent state law.
That's okay.
I think it was as far as I recall, when we did the in-person meeting, it was just I couldn't count towards quorum. You have to be in person to count towards quorum.
You
But
could only
that-
watch and you cannot comment. You could watch as a public. That was it. The meeting. So
We might need to.
with the crutches with the
Yeah.
February 2024.
Okay.
So
We can look
so,
into
yeah.
that.
it's okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
We can move
I'm
on.
not-
So let me ask this, as far as how this would work, is the representative going to come back to the trustees and describe or just explain all of that was going on at
Yes,
the?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be an expectation.
Would staff have any recommendation on how, since we have more candidates probably than how to do this?
I mean, I think, I guess my recommendation maybe kind of each state your desire for participating and see if there's I don't know. At some point, we might just have to call a vote.
Alex and Marion,
Yeah.
vote for themselves and see what's happened.
Yeah.
Sure. You wanna?
So I think I've already stated
Yeah.
why I'm interested, because I did attend that first meeting. I was involved with the election itself in terms of supporting the public, because this was a public initiative. It was a little bit different. So I am part of the Friends of Library and the library not committee, but
Foundation.
the foundation. So I have been involved in that part of it. And then again, I went to the first Prop P meeting. So that's my interest, and that's what piqued my interest in this process, and in particular this this committee. Yeah. Son,
I was invited to be the community liaison for the workshop since 2015 for the new library development workshop the city put together. Back then, the retired mayor and he was in there in the meeting. The director, Sarah Houghton, was there, and all the children's library librarians all there to just throw the ideas, how to improve the library, the new library, where we're gonna put it in. So I was invited to be the public residents, like just the citizens, to participate in the workshop. So the two meetings at the time, 2016, all day on the B Street Community Center, room, and we drove many ideas. It was really a wonderful meeting. The stakeholders as well as a lot of community members, and the librarians invited me to be there. So I was so grateful. So I think it's more of like a 15, 12 years of my heart in the new library that I want to be participating. Since also I live just up the street from the new library location. So I just go down there. I shop at Safeway every day, and it's just right there. And I was involved in the whole site. So I would love to know more about it and put in my input as a resident since the just 200 miles, 200 feet from the location. So
thanks, Sonny. Michael?
Well, I can't claim to have the direct experience like you guys, but my entire career I was working with environmental and design and engineering groups, working at the type of design process that you're talking about. So I feel I'm very familiar with that. In addition, I have a particular interest in the area where it's actually going to be. I wrote a paper on the original San Rafael and San Quentin Railroad Station, which is right immediately adjacent to it. I did historical research on the area, so I have a particular interest in that as well as having an interest in the construction, ultimate construction of the building. So.
No, thank you. It's a lot gives us a lot to think about. I'm not sure how this process should go about, since we have 3 candidates for basically 2 positions, and maybe do we vote first for the primary person and then for a backup?
Yeah, probably makes sense to vote for one at a time, the primary representative and then the alternate after.
Alex can vote. Are we going to go with his vote?
I'll abstain if Sonny has an issue with it. I don't want it to be an issue, especially since the committee is going to obviously have a lot of work.
Yeah,
That's
just
fine.
in case.
I don't want to.
Well, this will be interesting.
I actually can pull out. And defer to the. I mean, I'm the new guy here, so I'll defer to the senior leadership here.
I will just say that, as I mentioned, that will be brought to the full board. There will be lots of opportunities. The community engagement will be robust. I mean, even aside from being on the board, we'll have community meetings, pop-ups, surveys, focus groups. So there's going to be lots of opportunities to weigh in as a community member, as a board member, and then this is just one other, opportunity. So.
All right. So we're down to 2. We still have to make a decision. But we still have to make a decision about who will be the primary and the backup. So I feel a little awkward calling a vote on myself, but
Should I call the vote?
Yeah, why don't you make a motion, Mary?
thank you.
Where's your cheat sheet?
What do you move?
So
Okay, I move to have a vote to decide
Well, no, you would need to move to, who are you?
Yeah, who would you move
Who
to?
would you move to
That's
appoint
not
in
on
the
here.
position?
Oh, just for me personally, or I thought I was
No,
gonna
no.
take the vote?
Yeah, you are, but
Well, someone needs to move, someone needs to make a proposal.
Okay, and right. So I make a proposal.
You move.
To appoint a stakeholder committee representative for the Albert Park Library and Community Center.
Yes.
We need one primary and we'll vote on that.
Okay.
If we have two candidates, we have Larry and we have Sunny. All those in favor of Larry, please raise your hand.
That
Okay, so I think you need to make a motion to appoint Larry as the representative, and then the roll call would be the vote.
Okay,
Does
thank
that
you.
make sense?
So there's basically going to be two
Correct.
motions. You're going to one vote for Larry, and then if Larry wins, then Larry wins, and then if not,
Larry
then you would
doesn't win.
nominate. Then you would move on to Sunny.
Yeah.
So I would say I move to nominate Larry to the stakeholder committee.
Okay, I move to nominate Chair Andrew to the Albert Park Community Center Stakeholder Committee. All those in
And so
favor?
now Ginger will do roll call.
Okay.
You get more practice with it.
it's a good practice. for
Yeah,
you,
good
Mary.
practice.
All right, Trustee Kyle,
Right?
Trustee Lee,
Nay.
Trustee Poke,
Aye.
Trustee Badat,
I'll abstain.
Chair Ando.
Aye.
Okay.
So now that
So
motion
that
passes.
Motion passes.
Yeah.
With
And-
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
3 votes.
So now we move on to the
have
alternate.
Yeah, I'll stay.
Chair Andrew, thank you for volunteering to be stakeholder liaison.
Now we move on to
Okay,
alternate.
so now we're moving on to identifying a alternate for this position. On this, I won't even reiterate the committee because we all know it has to do with the library, city commission or committee. And we have, we'll take a vote on Trustee Lee. Gender, can you call the roll?
Someone needs to make a
Oh,
motion.
I'm sorry. I make a motion to have Trustee Lee be the alternate representative. And do I need a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. All right, Gender, I think we're ready to call the roll.
Did we have a motion and a second for the primary?
Yes, Mary moved and
I didn't do that one.
Larry seconded? Did you
No,
second?
that was for him.
For himself.
Or for the alternate or?
Oh, for the alternate.
Were you, Ginger, were you asking
said
for?
Yeah. Yeah, for the primary, I don't recall a
Oh,
motion
do we
and
not
a
do a
second.
second? Okay,
There wasn't a sec, I don't know that there was a second.
Yeah,
so then we maybe need to redo it.
okay. Apologies. I should have said something.
All right, so Mary
First meeting of the year.
moved, so then we need a second.
Second.
Okay.
Oh, is that
All right.
good enough? You said it, thank you.
Okay, so should I take roll again?
Yeah.
Sure.
Or.
Okay, so this is the roll call for the primary. Trustee Kyle,
I.
Trustee Lee,
I,
Trustee. Well, for the primary, Trustee Lee had said no previously.
no, but I
Okay.
guess it's just, it's done
Oh,
there,
okay.
right?
Oh, okay. You changed your mind. Okay, Trustee Lee, got it. Yes. Okay. Trustee Poke,
Congratulations.
Trustee Vidot,
Abstain.
got it. Trustee Ando.
Aye.
Okay. And then for the secondary or the alternate, I have Mary Kyle as the one who moved, and then I have Trustee Poke who seconded.
Yes.
I think Larry moved for the alternate.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Got it. All right. So I will go ahead and take roll for the
Well, we're voting.
alternate. All right, I'll go ahead and take roll for the alternate. Trustee Kyle.
I.
Okay. Trustee Lee.
I,
Okay. Trustee Pope.
Aye.
And trustee Vidot.
Abstain.
Okay, and then Chair Ando.
Aye.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. That is done. We will now move on to agenda item number 5, the review of the 2026 Board of Trustees meeting schedule. And staff is up.
All right, so for this item number 5, I laid out the proposed meeting schedule for 2026. And it's up to the board to review and revise as necessary so that we can adopt it for 2026. This year, I know previous years we took into account spring break. It doesn't, and kind of adjusted those meeting dates as well as holidays. Neither of those two things fall with any of our meeting dates. In the past, we've also went dark in July and December. I accounted for that in this meeting schedule as well, as long as the board continues or agrees with continuing that practice. That schedule reflects that.
I think in the past, we have sometimes gone back and forth between July or August, just depending on which.
July also is better.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would align kind of closely with 4th of July. So.
The question I asked you this afternoon about the position or about the new library, the new position that we have, where does that fit in here? Because you don't.
We're not on that. We're not on that one yet. We're on the meeting schedule. That's item number 6. The work plan's the next one.
This is 7. Okay.
It's a long meeting.
Yeah, it is a long meeting today.
We kind of combined our what's normally in November.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the next one.
All right.
Yes.
I think, our standard practice is we recognize that trustees aren't always able to make all the meetings. I think typically we try and figure out in advance if we're not going to have quorum. That's when we would really maybe consider moving a meeting if there's something timely on the agenda and we're not going to have quorum. But otherwise, the second Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m.
Right.
April 14th, I might have a conflict. So it's something up to everybody. Wish to prefer to move the meeting like a week later, then that'd be awesome. But
April 14th.
April 14th, yeah. So
I think so in that case, are there others? Does that date work for a quorum of our staff or of our commission board at this point?
often we won't then know until they get closer sometimes.
When in April are you proposing?
14th, yeah, so the following week will be great, not the earlier, but the following week.
So I
So
think
third week.
well, the question would be do we have other trustees who have a conflict on the 14th? And if we end up with 3 that aren't able to make it, then we might move. But otherwise we'll make
Okay,
it.
right now on the 14th.
Okay.
That's really
That-
hard
that
for me
date's-
to predict at this.
Sorry,
Yeah,
it seems
it's
like
okay.
at this point, and
Yeah,
we often don't know until
Yeah.
closer
Yeah.
to the date, so that's fine as well. As long as nothing immediately jumps out as.
My son's wedding is not.
That's okay. So as long as this, the dark in July and December, these dates generally work, I think we'd look for a motion to approve the calendar.
All right. Any discussion from trustees? If not, can I get a motion to approve the proposed meeting schedule for 2026?
The motion is proposed schedule for 2026.
I'll second that. Gender, I think we're ready to call the roll on this.
Trustee Kyle,
Aye.
Trustee Lee,
Aye.
Trustee Poke,
I,
Trustee Vidot,
Abstain.
Chair Ando.
Aye. All right, that passes. So we have a schedule for 2026. So we'll move on to item number 6, review of the 2026 Board of Trustees work plan. And Steph.
All right, so we've got a schedule and now we'll have a plan. So just a little bit of background for the past 5-6 years or so, city staff has been putting together a work plan for the board. This work plan is meant to be a living document. So we know things change and we will bring different things up to the board on different months that aren't always reflected in the work plan here. But I think for this work plan, it is a lot of them, what we feel are kind of main themes that we're anticipating bringing to the board throughout the years. And a lot of the things, particularly in February, and towards the end of the year, are kind of similar year in and year out selection of chair and co-chair or vice chair. We share a lot of the statistics at the end of the year. Next month, we'll be sharing the fiscal year 25 library state data, California State Library data. And one of the things that we're incorporating this year is kind of the meet the team concept. We've onboarded senior librarians to our team, which is a new classification, and they supervise new librarians with different specializations. And we want to make sure that the board meets them, understands what the work is, and what kind of the plan is throughout the year from those specific service areas. So we have a meet the team adult services, children's services, teen services, and branch services. So they'll come, you'll meet the new librarians, they'll explain what programs they're working on for throughout the year or things that they've done depending on when they're presenting, to really make sure that we're sharing kind of what our initiatives are throughout the year. There'll be some library policy review. We'll continue that through this year. In particular, there's going to be a policy that we're drafting for vulnerable adults, kind of how it's in scope, it's similar to the child safety, but it's addressing kind of adults that merit special attention and how to address those needs, as well as a programming policy. Similar to the collection development policy that was approved here, it's similar in its initiative, but it's geared to a lot of the programs that staff are curating, they're developing, or that we're looking for outside outside agencies to help us put on. And the policy is geared to kind of signal how we're bringing those policies in or those programs in, how we're curating our profile kind of what we're offering, and how that goes into, it highlights also how the public can suggest programming and what the course of action to do that is as well. So we're drafting those policies, so those will come to the board as well. We're planning a site visit for Pickleweed in June. Summer reading plan. We plan to next month talk about our Indie Lens launch, which is a collaboration with PBS for showing films. And there's a whole lot that Shawnee's going to present on that. And one of the things that we wanted to highlight is that as a
On the back.
additional topics is to your question, the Measure P updates. And based on the stakeholder committee, what that looks like, it's kind of how that depends on how the committee.
It'll just fit into.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
adjust. Some of
adjust
these
this.
something.
We'll fit them into a particular month, depending on how that moves forward.
Yeah, we just weren't sure what month it would be yet, so we put it at the bottom. The other thing I'll say is a standing agenda item is the commissioner reports. That's every meeting. Commissioners have an opportunity to provide reports on relevant meetings they went to. So that would be a time for Chair and Al to report out on it. And then we will also have tailored meetings where our design team and our project team will be. Opportunity.
That's exciting.
So I think one of the reasons we adopted kind of this work plan is to give the board the opportunity to weigh in on what topics we might talk about this year. And if there's things on here that you're not seeing, I know Commissioner Vadot in the past has wanted to talk about grants, and we didn't really have a lot to talk about in past years, but we think this year we're gonna have more. So that's on there in September. But if there are other topics that the commissioner or the board members would like to see discussed,
I
we
have a
can.
question.
Yeah.
What is it? Maybe you've told us this, but academic support at the library, what is that?
So that's gonna be where we'll kind of highlight a lot of the programs we're doing that provide support to students. Reading buddies, math club,
Okay.
tech help. We've got the teen advisory board. So we'll be highlighting how the library plays a part in helping with from early literacy to reading to math throughout our partnership with the schools.
Okay.
My
and
part
that-
is gonna
is
be
that
involved in
just, is that through like high schools in San Rafael? Is it, or is it
It's
higher than that?
in
or-
San Rafael. It's up to high school in San Rafael.
K through
K through 12.
12.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the past, we presented on kind of individual programs like Reading Buddies. I think at this point, we have so many different
many
programs that we're needing to lump them together.
Yeah.
Other questions or comments on this particular agenda item from the trustees?
Yeah, there's nothing more to report about Carnegie, but then updates, about pickleweed, and then the one in Northgate, that's kind of an offshoot from what's happening. I mean, those,
That's
we'd
on the
love to
next.
hear how we're coming along with, I guess, right, before we go to the open house. I mean, maybe.
Oh, I mean, we'll provide, we usually provide updates on our construction projects in the staff liaison report.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think at this point, it's just being constructed, so there's probably not enough for like a standalone
Right.
until you guys get to see it. But yeah, we'll continue to provide verbal updates during the staff liaison report.
And we've got something in October about library services in North San Rafael, what that looks like.
I think we don't have any more information than anyone else on Northgate and
It's gonna.
the timeline for that. So we're just,
How is that staffed, by the way? I mean, I don't know at all how that is staffed. Do you have like two people there, one person?
It's library, it's part of our library staff.
we typically have
That-
at least 2 people to give breaks.
And what is the hours there?
It's on the,
It's Tuesday through Saturday, I think, 10 to 5 most days, and then Wednesday is our late day.
Wednesdays till 7.
Wednesday's 12 to 7.
With two people there generally.
Yeah, I'd sometimes on Saturdays tend to be the busy days, so we often try and staff with 3. Right now, I think we have more staff there because some of our pickleweed staff have been relocated there, so we're
Right.
a little more heavily staffed than we normally are.
Other comments from the trustees on the work plan? If not, I would like to call a motion to approve the 2026 work plan.
I mentioned the 2026 work plan.
I'll second that. And with that, Gender, could we call the roll on this item?
Trustee Kyle, Trustee Lee,
I,
Trustee Polk,
Aye.
Trustee Vadot,
Abstain.
Chair Ando.
Aye.
Thank
All right, that passes. We now move on to item number 7, staff liaison report. And again, staff's up.
All right. It's probably the meeting we've done the most since I've and I just realized in my notes that my updates in November, I haven't reported out here. So I'll go through briefly on some of the items I've reported out to other boards. And because I'm not really sure if we've kind of highlighted them here. The Carnegie, we received a gift from the Carnegie Corporation of New York for $10,000,
Wow.
which we plan to use to support our programming efforts. So we've got a lot of ideas, we've got a lot of new staff, and that's what that's going to help support and help us launch some of our programming. The North Bay Business Journal awarded the Carnegie Project the Excellence in Construction Award.
Oh.
So that's pretty awesome. Our construction crew and our city staff worked really hard, and I think it's just great.
Nice.
We did a food bank drive during the last portion of the year. And we're continuing to do it online. So it's people can donate to our virtual kind of food drive financially. Recruitment updates. We've hired, I think we're staffed up. So we've hired our librarians, which I think we reported on, but we've brought on our library assistants as well. So they all started December 1st.
How many librarians are there?
Ooh, how many librarians do we
So
have?
3 seniors,
3 seniors,
1 additional children's, 1 tech services, 1 teen, 2 additional adult,
and that's 8,
and then
10,
1 at branches.
9, 10.
Remember that added up too. No, I think it's
9?
no 10.
10.
Because it's 7 librarians, 3 senior librarians, then a supervising librarian.
And how many assistants?
Assistants, we've got
3 seniors, 4.
6 or 7.
Is that library assistants or
Library
seniors?
assistants.
And seniors?
Library assistants and seniors all together.
How many then?
I wasn't expecting this. Let's see. 7.
And 2 of them are part-time.
2 of them part-time. And then 1 library aide.
Library 8?
1 library aide.
That's Marlene.
Marlene.
What's a library aid?
They help with shelving, paging, checking in materials, helping with delivery. Right now, they help with a lot of our holds. Patrons come in to pick up holds using the self-check. They're in the lobby. Their presence is in the lobby a lot.
So what does a library assistant do then?
They work the service desk. So they do a lot of patron engagement, interfacing with the patron at the service desk, plus a lot of our circulation work.
Realizing
You mean
to
like
the
putting books back or
checking.
The library aide and our pages do that. A lot of the library assistants do primarily work the desk and process incoming materials, holds in the circulation room.
okay.
Because we saw the new faces unloading the blue box.
Yeah.
Maybe we should add meet
Yeah,
the
we
meet the team circulation
Yeah.
and tech services to the work.
In terms of policy review updates, I think I mentioned a little bit when we were talking about the work plan, but there's the vulnerable adults policy is something we're going to work on, and the programming policy, and you'll see those come across. We've been working with Griffin Structures, who's the project management team for the new library and community center. In a lot of those initial phase of the identifying what taking the site assessments to kind of develop an initial idea of what the space from the staff perspective needs before we move into any more of that community engagement phase.
You mentioned the name of the company?
Griffin
Griffin
Structure. So
Structure.
that's the project management company that we hired.
Yeah.
Okay.
See where am I? I don't think I mentioned that Devagi and I went to the California Library Association conference, the annual conference, which was the theme was sharing our own stories or telling our own stories. And we picked up a lot of ideas on how to really storytell with a lot of the programs that we're doing and a lot of our community engagement, which Devagi and Duncan are really kind of embedding into our marketing campaigns. We've set up accounts in terms of for our book buying. I know I mentioned Baker and Taylor closing here. And the team has been moving forward with, we've really diversified our, who we purchase from and what accounts we have to kind of have more resources available to us and prevent that whole thing with Baker and Taylor again. So we're looking at all these vendors and purchasing based on who offers what and
What kind of budget is there for books?
so we've got just a little over $100,000 for book purchasing. So we purchase our books, physical books. And before Baker and Taylor closed, a lot of our budget was spent with Baker and Taylor. So now
And what is Baker and Taylor?
Baker and Taylor is a 200-year-old company that just closed last year.
Like in
And
September?
yeah, in September. And they supplied pretty close to almost every library that I know nationwide with wholesale books. And they had pretty much an efficient system and things didn't work out for them and they closed. So that sent the library world into a scramble.
Yeah.
Which impacts all these new vendors that had to increase their capacity to absorb all this traffic and all this business. Luckily, we started navigating it really early, and I think we're in a pretty good place.
Was Baker Taylor also labeled, categorized,
Pre-processing,
process everything for before they ship it?
Right.
Books. So even stickers and everything.
Right, and it's pushing a lot of these other vendors into doing that work.
Okay.
So they're slowly
Adapting.
to that.
Is the book choices, is that like among librarians, they come up with a plan or how does that?
For selecting?
Yeah.
Yes, so we've got, now that we've incorporated other librarians, the purchasing or the selecting has been spread out based on librarian experience, what genres they're comfortable ordering from, where their kind of experience is. And those responsibilities have been spread out. So certain librarians order for certain genres.
Okay.
And then, yeah, they go through our vendors. It's kind of like creating carts, you're curating carts and purchasing that way.
Right.
Yeah. Pickleweed. We're continuing constructions. It's moving. We're anticipating reopening sometime in May, June. I'm always hesitant to throw out dates because I'm just a little superstitious, but we're continuing to offer service out of Alboro. That's going great.
What's that?
Alboro is the community center there.
Oh,
So we've taken over, I don't want to say taken over, we're collaborating with the front desk.
you have a room or something there?
Just got a station at the front desk.
Okay.
And 3 days a week, we offer core services from there.
Oh, okay.
Meaning like some books on the cart.
We have some books on cards. We've got holds. We still do drop-in tech help. Staff will still do that. And we lend out Chromebooks.
That's great.
And Northgate. So Northgate's got kind of a we've refreshed Northgate. So our new Alejandra's now in charge of Northgate. She's in charge of all branches, whereas before she was just in charge of Pickleweed. So some of her staff have been taking over shifts at Northgate. There's a whole reorg that happened in there in terms of our physical shelving and our collections. One of the big popular things is that she created kind of a small children's corner at the very front of the library. And that's been incredibly popular. So there's a little bit of a reorganization for the interior that's generating a lot of interest.
You have like story time there too? Or, yeah.
Yep, we've got some programs going there. That place, Northgate, is very, very busy on cold and rainy days. So they're working to kind of engage that population.
We had a very cold, rainy days. For
Right,
like
yeah.
3 weeks.
So they've been pretty popular.
That's so great.
Is there anything else?
The only other thing I had on my list is Measure D. So Measure D, which is a parcel tax, voter approved, was approved in originally 2010 and then renewed in 2017. It expires in June. So the city is looking at putting it on the ballot for renewal. It generates about 1.25 million, which is about a third of this library operating budget. It is only restricted to support library operations versus Measure P, which is dedicated strictly to the infrastructure project.
Oh, that's not good. It's going to be up against SMART too. That's,
So we are in the field polling right now. That will be kind of the preliminary results are going to be brought to the city council finance subcommittee in next week or the week after. And then the first city council meeting in February will be kind of having a report on like the overall fiscal health of the city and kind of the upcoming ballot measures and kind of some strategy around that. And then February 17th is the last city council date for them to put the measure on the ballot. So
this will be the first time it's been done since Measure P was passed, right?
yes, so it's the first election since Measure P passed.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if people are realizing how much their taxes are going to be. That's going to be like a double.
Yeah, we're gonna find out with the polling.
Yeah, it's not a new tax. It's just an
Right.
extension.
Right.
Except P I don't know that people understood how much that was going to be on their taxes when they looked at the parcel tax on that. In addition to then the one that's already there that is going to have to be renewed.
We will find out.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think, there's some messaging there. Measure D is, it's, $79 or $72. $72. So it's pretty critical for us.
Yeah.
So that'll be coming up. I'm sure you'll probably read about it in the IGA. And if you'd like to attend the council meetings where it's discussed, this February 17th, I believe is going to be the main one.
I love libraries, so I see it's no problem.
We'll see. This one does require a 2/3 majority, so it's a pretty high bar. I believe last time it requires 66%. I believe last time it passed with, oh gosh, I can't say, but it was a comfortable passage. But I think it's a different time, and we'll see.
Other questions from trustees? Daniel, I'm sorry, I didn't pick this up. On Pickleweed, what is the expected completion date again? I apologize, or approximate.
Right, yeah. So based on this week's kind of weekly meeting that we have,
Right.
Arndt's Construction is gonna provide us with an updated
okay.
timeline, but they're thinking towards end of May, early June.
Nice.
Are you planning, besides us coming
A
over, are
party.
you planning like a party like you
Yes.
did here, which was so cute? Yeah, so well attended.
Yeah, we definitely have to celebrate.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
What that looks like,
Yeah, well,
plan,
it was
but-
fun. Yeah, you'll do something.
All right, other questions from trustees on this issue or on this item? If not, we'll move to commissioner reports. Item number 8. I'll start. I know I already talked about this, but I think I did not mention previously under these reports that I did attend the Prop P meeting with the city and the proposed planner or the architect on this.
Project
And
manager.
the project, excuse me, yes,
That's all right.
project
We
manager.
still have to hire the architect.
And they did in fact hire this particular project manager. I thought they did a great job of presenting. They have a lot of experience. I think they're gonna have to learn a little bit because this, I think, is the first, what do we call it, public initiative that has been passed in this way, where it's not the city proposing a project, but rather it comes from the public. So I think one of the things that we're going to have to look at closely, excuse me, in watching this process is that they follow and we get a lot of input from the community around exactly what Proposition P stated, because that's the guidance I see for this library going forward, which is a little bit different from when you would get a task from a city council or have an initiative proposed by a city council and then passed in that way. So I think this will be a very interesting process, and I'm glad I had a chance to attend that first meeting. But that's my report. Any other?
Yeah, just a brief, I received a really sweet letter outreach from your children's manager, from Margaret. So, yeah, so Margaret she knew that I was on the Native Plant Society, and she talked to Marie, and who's going to be doing the seed bank. But Margaret's idea, and she gave me a proposal, and I said that I would present it. Then you have a little patio back there. She's probably told you about it, but she wants to develop like a little garden back there. The kids come to the library after school, they're jumping around, they have a lot of energy. It'd be nice to have a little outdoor space that they can be and still be contained. It's a pretty small, pretty ugly space that's right behind with the freeway. Not the freeway, I'm sorry. Fifth Avenue feels like a freeway. People going back and forth. A Mission. And there would have to be, certainly plantings, and they were talking about some plans as far as some chairs and whatnot. But it would be so sweet to be able to, that was one of their plans, and they have a whole proposal. They want to reach out and write a couple grants as far as money, and then to collaborate with a youth group that is looking to do hours. And these are kids that need to do some hours and some work experience. So they just have it's a wonderful idea. I would support them 100% to have a creativity, and they want to use native plants, and there's no watering system back there. There's a few things that are, but I do something special that the library, and I'm sure there's hurdles all over, but
To the patio, cement floor patio for like art making. Does it
Yes,
been in the past, like, and then I don't remember, like, there's a gate to the path.
well, there's like a
Gate to,
what is it, the high back, or is it some machinery back there that they have to get to, and there's a gate, and then there's the patio, and then there was apparently a lot of weeds, and unfortunately they sprayed a lot of chemicals to kill the weeds. It was not organic. And then they took down some trees on the side, some of the palm trees apparently. So that could be planted, and then potentially something on the gate just to make it prettier or softer, or maybe, or sweet peas or whatever. I mean, it would take a lot of work.
How do they propose to irrigate or?
Hand and buckets, or maybe get a catchment system, something. But
oh, yeah.
anyway, and I believe that was one thing. The native plant that I think you do have a catalog coming, right? And there was some sort of
library.
had the date. There was going to be
The seed library.
The seed library.
It's going to be a
30th.
kind of a launch on the 31st.
That's what I have in my.
January 31st.
Do you have a time for that?
Well, I can find that.
Yeah.
It's on our
thanks.
website.
But I wanted to be.
I was like opening the seed drawer.
Oh, it's on your website?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I had the Master Gardener flyer, but I don't have that one. I just think it's really cool.
10
Okay.
10 to 12.
Okay. Do you have any feedback, Catherine, about the little garden?
I mean, I think it's a wonderful idea, and I think, you know, we're just gonna need to work on the feasibility and, you know, safety, and it's a little rocky back there, so,
Yeah.
There isn't much light there though, is there? The
No.
buildings blocking it, so you'd have to
Yeah.
use special plants. I mean,
Right,
yeah,
they would look at shade
shade loving
plants
plants.
that
Yeah,
are made of the
yeah.
succulent, something, low water. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, I think the concept is wonderful, and work on the details.
It's doable. Okay, well, count me in.
Okay.
Oh, do you want this back?
Thank you. Also, thank you.
All right, are there other commissioners or trustees who want to make a report at this time? Alex, okay. All right.
To the repair fair.
Yeah, the repair fair.
We got a question here. Why does it say commissioner report? What does that mean exactly? I mean, she was talking about an initiative, but commissioner, who's the commissioners?
You are all.
You are all.
We're all commissioners. We're not just trustees, we're commissioners.
I wonder if that should say trustee report.
I have been.
It could, yeah, that can be something.
We could change that. I think,
It's the report out from the board.
yeah.
Okay, that's just kind of confusing.
We
Michael.
call you guys all sorts of
Thank
things.
you for that.
Trustees.
Yeah.
We've just been.
Actually, I mean, I thought maybe there was a person here that was gonna be, okay.
Many years back, we may have originally taken this from the Park and Rec Commission, their template,
Oh.
and then it just, we never
Okay.
updated that word.
Just be glad Daniel and Catherine don't call us what they want to call us. And
I know.
Provide comment.
Well, I never got to call you trustees or board members.
Say this time.
Yeah, so it was just this time. Last time it wasn't saying just board members.
Last time we said board members?
Yeah, it just said board members and trustees have comments and about some things attended or conference or seminars, so. Yeah.
All right, well, the last thing I'll do then is, technically I open this up for public comment, but the person who was here has left, so we do not have anyone left from the public. And with that, I will call to adjourn the meeting at 7:33. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
well done, Larry.
Last year.